See, as ugly and as much of a dork as I may seem to you, and I'm out there, speaking about the truth, and you're like, whatever, and blah, blah, blah. I've never even come close to telling you what the deal is. And there is only a handful of, unfortunately, because we've made it that way, white boys and girls who even know the truth. Now, they seem to be concentrated within a certain generation, and you'll know which one that is because they're the ones that are not liked by the powers that be. And the confusion and anger that people will get when they find out what is he talking about with the truth? Is he talking about telling a cop I was speeding? Is he talking about like when I stole that bubble gum from the no. Oh, he's talking about when I cheated on my girlfriend. No. He's talking about who killed Kennedy? No. 9/11? No, 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 no. See, you have an arrogance about you. And so I like it when people say, Don, you're arrogant. You're so, you're an egomaniac. On one level, I'm so real that I would say, yeah, you may be correct because I know I have something. I was blessed to have something with where I grew up, with the circumstances surrounding me that put me a hell of a lot closer to the truth than you. Now, here's the best part. You don't give a fuck. That's what's so funny. Why? Because it's suicide. See, for years you've been making it. You're so smart. You have so much wealth. You've got, billionaires making fun of the elite. This money system that's been injected by Satan. I'm not loving life not having that much money. You're just a drug dealer. You're just a drug user. So what? So are you. But worse off, you're a liar. Now, wait a second. If you tell me you're going to the store and you really went to I don't know, a movie, that doesn't make you a liar like I'm talking about. This is the real shit, homie. This isn't fucking bullshit. You guys don't even know what the real shit is. And yes, I do brag about it because I got lucky. Si cuando yo estoy hablando español primero que inglés, eso es una cosa que es muy importante porque no conoces que aquí en los Estados Unidos ustedes tienen un sueño que es mentiras. Don, ¿cómo llaman eso? I call it living the cursed delusion. De veras, güey, de veras. Y toda la gente viene de México y quieren a vivir el cursed delusion. Eso me da risa, güey. Me da risa. Porque hay dos cosas. ¿Qué es el cursed delusion en inglés? Y también, ¿cómo sabes español así? See, when I speak Spanish in 2020, 2015, to people who you would consider maybe not even citizens, right? They don't think I'm American. They really don't. They don't even understand my Spanish. And yet, I've been to Guatemala. I would move to Guatemala. But the person who I grew up around, who showed me that, was not my German dad or my Irish mom. They were both working. So I'm a latchkey kid by default. And I love them very much. I have white in me. I am white. If I have to claim a gang, I'm white. But my point is, why am I having to claim a gang? And when I do claim a gang in LA, we never got fucked with. Well, how could they fuck with us? Who's going to fuck with us? If we have 20 Latinos in our gang, 18th Street wasn't going to fuck with us because all of them were the best of the Latinos. In other words, we didn't, you couldn't join the crew. You had to be asked. So, at the foundation of it, you would not tap on the shoulder the pug Mexican kid. You would not tap on the shoulder the fake black guy. Now, when I say fake, you think I'm talking about beating someone up or doing a drive-by. That shit's Mickey Mouse. I'm talking about, are you keeping it real? Are you real or not? And I'm not talking about the MTV version of that. So when you look at Don, you say, "How Don's not like that." Don's, Don, he may talk a little ghetto or whatever, but he's not from the hood. He's not white pride either. We had guys that were. And we would scare the shit out of people. I want to emphasize that to you. Michael and Pure, who started ICR, Mike is 6'6", has an afro. First time I ever met him, I didn't even meet him. I'm sitting in his room while another friend of mine is doing a drug deal with someone else. He comes in, he lays on the couch. Beautiful house. It's pitch black because people are passed out on the floor from the previous night's party. And he starts watching Days of Our Lives. And he has an afro, and he looks like Jimi Hendrix, and he's 6'6". He's like a Black Panther, and he studied theology in college. And he'll kick your ass. And so then he gets tattoos. He's light-skinned a little bit. And all the tattoos are racist. He has watermelon eating Sambos tattooed down his arm. I tell this to friends up here, they laugh. They think that's ignorant. No, it's not. They don't get it. Why would you have racist tattoos on your black skin against black people? It's the art of self-declamation, motherfucker. What are you going to fucking say to them? You can't do shit to us. Goober, which was his Nazi lowrider name, had a swastika on his head. Literally was the scenario in American History X. Literally. And what's weird is there are scenes in American History X which really did happen. I was in the valley when, remember that? Oh, you don't remember, you weren't there. When in the movie though, they have the guy put his mouth against the sidewalk and he kicks the back of his head. That was one of the crews that I knew. Yeah, it wasn't a racial thing, but that was taken from that incident in 1984 by the FFF. It's a white punk gang, but it wasn't a racial thing. And so you have Goober who goes to prison, and he has a giant swastika on his forehead, on his whole head, shaved head. So you have the party house where we have Pure, who's a Mexican mafia, very, very tough guy, but a very soft guy on the inside, killed himself. And again, I'm with the burden of knowing why, while his other knucklehead friends who think they were his friends and they weren't. And that was what our conversation was about. That's a secret I keep. So everyone could talk shit about why you and ICR, because they hated it. They all claimed it, but they were never in it. Everyone says they're in ICR. I get emails all the time when I put ICR on Facebook from around the world. How can I be down with ICR? Do I have to do a graffiti piece or something like that? As if there wasn't something deeper to it. As if we couldn't just go into any store and take what we wanted. But we were not about money. That was one of the things. That's also been kind of a stolen idea. You get all these graffiti artists who are out there doing all kinds of shit, claiming it ain't about the money. They have to pay the rent. But it was a statement we were making. And so there were many things that I had to go through, which didn't have to do with being jumped in, which were tests. Some guys were fucking with some girl, and so they went to Pure, who then went to me and assigned me to it. He would pay me $100 to go and take care of the girl who would call because her boyfriend beat her up. Now this would be someone you'd be frightened of, a black guy, a coke dealer. Probably got a gun, right? He's gonna shoot Don. No, I know that's not gonna happen. I know who I'm with. That guy eventually did try to kill me, and he couldn't get near me, so he fucked my girlfriend. I just let him go because I knew it was a race thing. We're so above it, man. You claim it, but you're not. You know it, and it still comes out in us. Trump has brought it out in us. Trump has brought all of them out of the closet like homosexuals. Now God knows who's keeping it secret because we're the ones who are the ambassadors. And if you think that your fucking white attitude, see, I don't have a white attitude. There's a big difference between a white person and a white attitude. Because there's a lot of black guys out there right now who have switched over. That's what they wanted. That's what they got. And they didn't know that. You aren't going to be able to keep soul brother number one and make that much money and not be white. So I'll go up to one of these motherfuckers and just talk shit to them because I know more about it being from LA 92 than they will ever know about it. All they have is George Floyd, a guy who died while getting arrested. I was in a city that literally was like the KKK, but in a colored city. I was in busting schools. Yes, I am hard like that. I spoke Spanish before English. They don't even think he's fucking really white. They think he's Guatemalan. Raised, middle class, white. Going to school at a time in LA that was the pinnacle of the world. Crack cocaine and the CIA. I saw it all. You cannot get more into the ark. Take two of every kind and put them into the ark. Now, did they literally take their bodies and put them into me? No. But was he exposed to those cultures to the extent that he has a taste? A white boy has a taste of what it's like to be that way. Does he get us? It's really impossible to, because I don't live that life. So I'll get my ass kicked, and I have. And I've always, even one time it was filmed, because they beat my ass down after I was claiming civilized at a place. When they tried to poke me on my money, I said, you motherfuckers don't know me. It's a true story. I can't lie if you put a gun in my head. I said, you don't know who I am. Now, I was drunk at the time. So I'm walking out, and I get 3 black football players jumping me. But what do you know? The sheriff's across the street recording the whole thing, because they're recording people leaving the bar as evidence against DUIs, because they're going to arrest people when they drive away out of the parking structure. So they filmed the whole fucking thing. So after about a minute, and I was black and blue all over my body. Drunk at the time, but Monday morning I was hurting. And they got these boys handcuffed on the ground after I got into an altercation inside the bar with them. The only black, they think I'm some dumb Monterey kid. I'm not some dumb Monterey kid. I was sent here like an ambassador. And so after I get my head, to finally come to grips, I said, let him go. Now everyone's outside of the bar going, what the fuck is he doing? And I insisted. I said, I play football with him. It's a hazing thing we do in the locker room. The cops knew I was lying. But they uncuffed these motherfuckers and let them walk. And I walked over to them. I said, I told you motherfuckers, now you know who I am. That's ICR. And you can't be a member. See, Carlos pistol whipped a security guard, a bouncer, just because some chick said, this guy's looking at me the wrong way. I'm not saying that's right. We never carried guns. There were different sections. Me and Mike never carried guns. People say, well, that's very admirable of it. Was it? Because we would have used it on ourselves, or we would have used it on you. It would be very ignorant for us to use guns. But all you guys, you have to have guns because you're pussies. If you kill us, we know where we're going. That's literally what it's about. We know who we work for. There's a secret for you. Now, no one would really admit to that, except me. I've been displaced from my crew for a long time. And you think that's an accident? Do you think it's an accident that I can't get off Vicodin when I can get off every other drug in the world? That I don't have any urge for Vicodin once Wendy leaves me? I know exactly who's playing that game. He's been doing it my whole life. He still is. And you're all helping him out. But what you have to understand is, white people are born to lie. That's how they're getting ahead. And don't you know who your great ancestor families are? See, I'm originally from Kenya. Laugh all you want. I was born, there is such a thing as being born again. In spirit. Then I'm in the Colonia Maya. That's where I get my Guatemalan. So I'm ghetto black, right? I happen to be in LA. And how ironic that he's with what? Who's he hanging out with in detention? Guys who were considered nerds in 84 were considered losers and dorks. They were not cool. They were considered outcasts. They were considered, what's the word I'm looking for? Nitwit, punk kids. All they do is wear flannel. They get into fights all the time. They're jerks. They're not even tough. They're just punks. Then all of a sudden we have an album come out called NWA, and they become gods. So lucky me, well, the loser Don, who doesn't hang out with the surfer kids at the school that has 3,000 kids in junior high. Don hangs out with him because he's always in detention. They beat Don up. Yeah, but now they're his best friend. So fast forward 5 years, while they're now adults and they're gangbanging Hoover Crip, way before Milk 74 was fucking born. And you asked the question on that video, are there any other white Hoover Crips out there? No, I'm not a Hoover Crip. I was never jumped into Hoover Crips. I did not live down there. But if you think I didn't know about the CIA thing when I didn't even know what the CIA was, you are wrong. They used to park U-Haul trucks unlocked with AK-47s in the hood. That's genocide. That's dangerous information to know. Not to hear about, to know. And when you invite your friends over to your place, just like in Remember the Titans, they say, no, man, I can't crash at your house. See, we didn't see color. You all claim that. You claim that. That's what pisses me off. You all claim the lines that we are truthful about. But when a cop comes up and starts saying the N-word, that's like when like catching your parents having sex for the first time. I was like fucking floored. I lost my virginity. I'm like, what? You're trying to kill my friends? I didn't believe this was happening. Then they start coming out at you. My brother got beat down by cops. So I was lucky to unfortunately be in a place where they said it was a failure to have forced integration, which was defined as basically teachers who were teaching kids who could not speak English, but the teachers couldn't speak Spanish, and a bunch of goddamn crack-selling gangsters from LA were literally thrown into my hood. Thank God. Because now I know what hood I'm going to when I die. But you don't know why you lie. And you think it's not important. It is very important. And you don't even have anything to say about it. Why? Because all you know are lies. See, if you eat fast food all the time, if you're always eating junk food, you're going to get heavy set. You're not going to be in the best shape. If you're not going to the gym, you're going to be in bad shape. But when it comes to the truth, it hurt. I've been doing it for 25 years, but I'm in way better shape than you. That's what, see, when people say, I'm going to kick your ass, you go and get a boyfriend who's got muscle. No, you don't get it yet. I'm like the white Suge Knight when it comes to that shit. And I don't have a problem saying that. Because I have a ghetto pass that even guys in the ghettos don't have. And that took me a long time. Now, coming up here, they don't know that. They don't even believe that. People in LA didn't believe that. That's why we walked around with a guy that had a swastika on his head who came and confessed because he had an American History X moment. He just came to Mike and confessed. Can you imagine what people think when we walk into a restaurant and we have Mike with blaxploitation tats? Don looks like the Unabomber. We have a Mexican mafia guy with Pure. And we have a Nazi. They called the police just because we looked that way. We weren't part of a movie set. They didn't know what to make of it. They called the police. Well, how do you do that? How do you call 911 and say, I don't know what to tell you, but there's a Nazi in here with a Black Panther and a couple other guys? And so the police just didn't know what was going on either. They followed us and they stopped us, and Goober was in trouble because he was on parole. And they didn't get it. They go, you guys just look like trouble. You're a Nazi. He was. You're Nazi lowriders. They have it on file. Mike's a Black Panther. You got all kinds of a record. Pure, same thing. And then me, and I'm driving a 1970 Firebird. That was one of the greatest moments we ever had. Why? Because we made a statement, and that's, you guys can't beat us. The Nazis are not going to jump us because Goober's with us. And we don't have any problem with them. Crips and Bloods wouldn't jump us because we had too many black members. Many of them were ex-Crips and Bloods because we touched the guys that were the best. See, once you get old, I didn't join ICR until my late 20s. See, you're in the Crips and Bloods and all that shit. If you're not dead by 18 or 20, then you're fine. So this wasn't a gang. This is more of a mafia. These were not the rejects. These were the survivors of that street war. See, this is the late 90s. This is in Batarang 80s. When more people were dying in LA than dying in foreign wars. More people died in LA in 1 year. With 100,000 gang members. And don't think because I was in the Valley it was any different. When NWA came out, I was one of the first people to have that album. So there's a problem right there. Because brothers don't want to admit. There were white boys that were literally more gangster than Biggie Smalls and them. They didn't get the shit yet. They hadn't gotten the tape yet. Because those were mixtapes that were called reality rap. Not gangster rap. They were called reality rap. And you can go back on MTV and you can look at House of Pain as much as you want to diss them. They were down with the Nation of Islam cats. They had Nation of Islam, militant black guys, appearing on their first album. They were sponsored by Pete Rock and Shell Smooth. He even mentions them in the 33rd Degree. An arm and a leg ahead. LLLAH, Allah. And you thought they were fucking Catholic Boston boys. You didn't know. We were born in the same hospital, Valley Press. You will never find another location in the world that wasn't more like Egypt. We have left our mark for a long way to come. I shouldn't even be alive. That's why I'm living up in Pebble Beach, of all places, broke as fuck. So people don't understand me at all. But the problem is, you really need to understand him, because that's your future. I do more shit than you could ever do. That is what God wants done. You may go to church on Sunday, and you may do this nice thing for that person. You may be a caregiver, but we know why you're a caregiver. So you can get out of all the bullshit you've done lying to guys. We know what you bitches are about, and you hate it. You hate it, and that's why that one line out of the Bible, well, say fuck the Bible. Okay, fuck the Bible then. But it's a good book to go by. It's the owner's manual. Same with the Quran. I read both. Are you respecting more than one God? No, I'm respecting the same God. It's just in different versions. I'm an ambassador, man. When they came up and Jesus says to the Jews, you're not of God. And they said, what are you talking about? You're not of God. And he says, well, if you were of God, then you would do what God wanted you to do. I have no idea who these Trump supporters are, if they're the religious rights or not. They've never read the Bible. If they had, they'd know. Well, maybe they do know. Maybe they are supporting the Antichrist. See, that's what I figured out. I always was born assuming everyone wanted to be right and wanted to go to heaven. And now I'm realizing, no. Some people think, oh, there's nothing after this. I got to get everything I can now, and I will fuck everyone over to do it, especially lie. Oh, okay. So, like Farrakhan said, a white man's heaven is a black man's hell. Now, I do drugs, and I'm not the perfect person. I'm not lily white. It has nothing to do with skin. It has to do with color, but not skin color. You guys are so fucking perfect. Well, that's going to change. That is going to change. I put money down, if I had it, that I will kick your fucking ass, because that's why they call me House. Because people think, oh, he's bad. He's a bad guy. He knows religion, man. So what? He does drugs. So does Dr. House on House MD. That's why they call me House. The House of God, right. And what was House doing? Well, he was brilliant. He was a diagnostician. He could figure out problems that other doctors couldn't figure out. They couldn't fire him, even though he was what? He was an addict. A Vicodin addict. So don't think I don't have an impression on this world. And his leg was bad, but he had a limp. Now my leg is bad. I have a permanent limp. Do I have the attitude of House? Maybe. But that's just a little too much of a coincidence, isn't it? But you can't deal with that.